Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 205 for the 16th of September. Before I start, I want to just to tell you that on the main channel, I have enabled the open mic, the third open mic video, the live stream on the main channel. But so you can so because I think a lot of people still haven't seen it yet, so I decided to open up to the main channel so that more people can see it. But hopefully you will actually like it, and then actually go to subscribe to DPA IRL in real life. You can go to the main screen, press channels. You can actually find it here, and when you go over there, you will find this the same here. It's actually streamed here. In the future, the streaming for the open mic will actually be on this channel only, which is why it's important for you to go and subscribe over there. So currently 1.61k subscriber only, so many people still haven't come over yet. So do subscribe to the other side so that we can keep the content cleaner and not messed up the main channel. So anyway, let's start off with some statements coming out from Russia. So first thing we want to talk about Putin's statement regarding the special military operation in Ukraine. So he addressed the attacks into Russian territory, and as well as probably to Donetsk People's Republic and Luhansk People's Republic. He said in the course of it, which is the special military operation, he see terrorists act and attempts to damage civilian infrastructure. So their response in his opinion is quite restrained. But more recently, the Russian armed forces have inflicted a couple of sensitive blows. This is actually referring to the strikes on the power plants as well as the dams in Kryvyi Rih. So he will just assume that these strikes are kind of a warning strikes to Ukraine. And he said that if the situation continues to develop in this way, where the Ukrainians continue to attack civilians infrastructure, and then he warns that the Russian answer to this provocation will be much more serious. So this is the Russian perspective coming directly from Putin himself. And there is also another statement coming out from the Russian Air Force. The speaker, Yuri Agnet, said that the Russian military have almost 800 aircraft aviation units around Ukraine. So they claim that they have 430 Russian aircraft and 340 helicopters near Ukraine and ready for action, which means that they are ready for deployment. This is a warning, or perhaps this is a foreshadowing of what is to come. Maybe the Russians have planned something bigger, and not sure what it is. But if they are still not doing anything, then the Ukrainians are going to capture even more grounds, as you will see later in the summary as we go along. And so according to the Ukraine Defense Ministry, one Sukhoi 25 had been shot down over the past day. So again, no specific location it was shot down at. So let's start off in the southern front. At the southern front, fighting is reported at Pravdyne. So the Ukrainians have launched an attack on Pravdyne, and several units actually go around the settlement. And however, because they want to flank and attack from the rear, perhaps to encircle the Russian forces that is at this settlement. However, they were met by incoming Russian reinforcements, and they got engaged over there. So according to the information coming from pro-Russian source Ryba, they say that in the evening at 5:45 on the 16th of September, the Ukrainians actually launched an offensive near Pravdyne. So an army group of 6 infantry fighting vehicles and 3 tanks went on the attack, and then they met by the Russian airborne troops. So it looks like the forces that is actually defending this Mykolaiv Kherson region here seems to be the Russian airborne forces nowadays. And so several units of the Ukrainian equipment are able to bypass the position and enter through the rear. So they actually do a blitz through the rear, which is actually a pretty good idea. And but then they ran into the approaching reserves. So during the battle. Reportedly, all the IFV has been destroyed, and one out of the 3 tanks was destroyed. So the Ukrainian forces then retreats, but then they were hit by artillery and Russian aviation. So as per this report, the last information that Ryba knows is that the Russian Air Force fighters and helicopters are circling this area, trying to destroy the remnants of the Ukrainian forces. So this is the information coming out from the pro-Russian source. So if you are pro-Ukrainian, you can actually disregard this entire information if this makes you feel better. Otherwise, emotional damage, and but this also corroborates with the front line as per the Russian side's information. You see, this line, this pink line, this is actually the Russian perspective of where the front line is. This is the Ukrainian perspective. So which is why it's still in line with what the Russian mapping is. And that's all from the Mykolaivka front. Over at the Davydiv front, the offensive, where the Ukrainians have tried to attack towards Davydiv, Brid, and Bruklinske, has not been reported today. It looks like the higher level or higher water flow of the Inhulets River might actually really impeded the Ukrainian reinforcements and resupply, and so they are probably unable to keep up with this offensive. So the action here has died down significantly, and there's a lot of reports coming from the pro-Russian source saying that there's a lot of ambulance are streaming towards Bereznev Huvate, but take that with a pinch of MSG. And so the only significant action in this region is just the bombardment of the Sukhyi Stavok, where Air Force and the Russian artillery bombarded the Ukrainian position around the area of Sukhyi Stavok at night. So the word they use is heavy, massive strikes. So looks like some heavy bombardments happened over at this position. So moving on to the Kryvyi Rih Front, the entire offensive that we have reported yesterday has kind of totally also unreported. There's no information about this attack at Ohaine, towards Novomykhailivka, towards Kostrivka, and at Novovonesensky. All this not reported today. So maybe this entire this entire attack has not worked out. So that's all from the southern front. Over here at the Zaporizhzhia Line, we have no reports. Ever since the last attempt from Oleksandrivka towards Nestyarenka, there is no more attempt tentatively. Looks like maybe the Ukrainians still have a lot of troops at Oleksandrivka. The forces that they sent towards Nestyarenka actually is not that much. So looks like they are trying to my guess is that they are actually trying to work out a new plan, new better plan to see how they can move forward, because there's no point going to die pointlessly. So maybe they are still looking out something new. Moving to the Donetsk front. At the Donetsk front, fighting continues to be reported by the Ukraine Defense Ministry at Novomykhailivka, and also at Krasnohorivka. This is Krasnohorivka is actually reported by the Ryba pro-Russian source, where the Donetsk militia is still grinding through the heavily multi-tiered defense, and it's going to take forever, I think, for them to take Krasnohorivka, unless they're going to get a significant reinforcement from the Russian armed forces. The militias themselves is going to take a very long time to take this position, as this is actually one of the very heavily entrenched and fortified positions since before the war has started. Over at the Pisky region, fighting continues to be reported at Pervomaiske, with the Donetsk People's Republic forces continuing to try to grind forward. And there is also fighting reported by the Ukraine Defense Ministry around Avdiivka. Similarly, as per now, we still don't know where the fighting at Avdiivka actually is. Is it from the Kayamka area, or is it from the Krasnohorivka region here? Is rather unclear at this moment. We shall see, because the pro-Russian side never reported about this fighting, so kind of weird, that the pro-Russian side actually have no information about this. So, and that's all from the Donetsk front. Pretty quiet in that sense. Moving on to the Bakhmut front, as per usual, as I always say, this is actually the main focus by the Russian armed forces, where you have the gorilla head here. You can see this is the eyebrow and the nose, mouth area. So the gorilla head, the fighting, the Ukrainians actually continue to claim control over Mykolaiv, where even in the latest shelling report from the Ukraine Defense Ministry continues to report Mykolaiv is under shelling, and today they actually reported shelling at Mykolaivka Druha. So this is something of unusual, because this is actually declared to be captured by the Russian forces a few days ago. Fighting continues to be reported at Zaitseve. Nothing new here, and no reports of fighting at Vasila Dolina today though. And fighting is reported at Bakhmut. Detailed information we do not have. Probably skirmishes, and fighting continue to be reported at Soledar. Similar situation as the Bakhmut one. So that's all from the Bakhmut front, or the gorilla head front. Moving on to the Siversk front. At the Siversk front, the Russian forces continue their attack at Spirne, or Spirne. There is no other information regarding the Siversk front. It looks like the entire Siversk offensive has been entirely broken. There is no more active Ukrainian offensive over here being reported over the past 24 hours. So, but fret not for the pro-Ukrainian side, because the breakthrough is actually over here in the Slovyansk Front. At the Slovyansk Front, while the Russians are very preoccupied with the defense of Lyman, or Krasny Lyman, or Crispy Lemon, fighting is reported at Dibrova, where the DRG, the Deep Reconnaissance Groups, continue to wreak havoc around Dibrova. There is fighting reported near Shchurove. Sorry, wrong spelling. Shchurove. So anyway, fighting is around here. The sieging of Lyman itself seems to be slowed down, because there's a massive breakthrough over in the northwestern side of Lyman city, where fighting is now reported today. Currently, the fighting is reported at Drobysheve, at Yarova, at Krymky, and at Oleksandrivka. In fact, in the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's report today, reporting on yesterday, they said there is shelling reported at Oleksandrivka yesterday. So this breakthrough might already happen yesterday. So it's very interesting, and there is also claims of control over Svyatohirsk, because they reported a bombardment over Svyatohirsk. The Russian forces reportedly have already withdrawn from Studenok, so we can actually move this line backwards, because I don't think the Russians are there anymore. Except this part, we can still sort of put it in this way. But yeah, the forces also have withdrawn largely close to Oskil based on latest information, but I think we can just leave it like that, because there is no fighting reported here yet. I think if there is reported fighting at Yatskivka, which means the Ukrainian forces at Oskil has breakthrough and attack here. But like at this moment, we don't have this information. I don't think that's the case. And this is looking very vulnerable for the Russian side, because if the Russian forces are unable to hold back this impending doom, because yesterday they have already captured Sosnove, then what I have predicted, where the Ukrainians will actually run riot into this open area here in northern Luhansk, will come to fruition. And when that happens, then we might actually see another massive withdrawal from the Russian side, because the lines here are pretty thin. The Russians do not practice multiple line of defenses because they don't really have the numbers for it. So it remains to be seen what the Russians is going to do. As we mentioned earlier in the beginning of this report, we have the Russians saying that they have a stupid amount of air force. This kind of numbers is actually bigger than most countries' air force. 430 aircraft is no joke. And that is talking about fixed wing aircraft. Most countries don't even have 100 aircraft, so not to say 400. So the Russians are making very big threats, and it remains to be seen whether they will actually do it, or do they even have this air force that they mentioned or they claim that to have around Ukraine. So if they really do have it, probably the time to use it is now, because things are looking really bad now. Anyway, and that's all from the Slovyansk Front, where the Ukrainians are having this massive breakthrough, and very soon, things are going to be calamitous. Over at the Oskil Front, the same stories continue to be repeated, where the DRGs, the recon or the commandos or special forces has been trying to break through along the Oskil River. There is some rumors coming out from the pro-Ukrainian side, claiming pro-Russian side says that the eastern Kupiansk has been captured. However, I do not see credible information about this. Even Ryba has actually claimed, the one of the most trusted Russian sources, saying that there is actually misinformation. No such thing happened. But we shall see if we have better information, because there is a video show the Ukrainian soldiers saying that they are actually on eastern Kupiansk, and then there is claims that these soldiers is actually later killed after they posted the video. No idea what the hell is happening. So the best is actually to leave it as is for now until we have better information about this eastern Kupiansk situation, because the fall of eastern Kupiansk would be a huge military disaster for the Russian side, because again, this side maybe there will be a lot of troops because there is Russian forces streaming in to help out with the defense of Lyman. But this area is another very sparsely defended place. It's probably even more less defended, and the fall of Kupiansk will lead to massive breakthroughs from the Ukrainian side. Although I do not know how much forces the Ukrainians have accumulated over the Kupiansk area. Would it be enough for them to actually do the kind of a massive breakthrough like what they did during the Balaklia offensive? So it remains to be seen. We shall see how it goes. So anyway, this is the summary. I believe I covered everything. This is the summary for the day of 205 for 16th of September. So I saw the comments talking about this part where 85,000 is nothing, but 85,000 soldiers is actually quite a lot, considering that the Russian special military operation started off with only maybe 200,000 troops to 250,000 troops. 85,000 is actually an increase of maybe oh my god, like 20% of troops. And but I would also say that maybe this 85,000 is actually to cover the number of soldiers that have perished. That could be the case. And there is also videos of Wagner PMC going around different prisons to recruit new soldiers for the Wagner private military contractors, and they are promised to a 6-month contract, and if they are able to survive the entire 6 months, all their crimes will be pardoned. And if they don't, if they don't survive, they die, they will actually be honored in the church graveyard of the Wagner group. So they actually have like a Wagner church kind of thing where they have their own cemetery. And if anyone regrets going into the special military operation, they will be shot on the spot for desertion. So it's pretty serious. In the video, the recruiter also put out very straightforward claims. No crimes, no rape, no all sort of things, which is really professional. The kind of things that they expect from professional soldiers. So they are expecting these criminals that is in prison, to have a second chance in life, with a high risk of death, but being in a very professional setup. So if they can perform professionally and survive the war for 6 months, then they will have a choice to be pardoned, and they can go back to normal life, or they can choose to stay in Wagner PMC and make it a career. And seems like a pretty good good deal, but they only have 5 minutes to decide. So I think I heard someone also say military summary actually talk about this, and he counted the number of prisons around, the number of convicts there are, and I would say that if they go through this, they go through enough prisons, they can actually raise a force of 5,000 to 10,000 troops. Personally, I think just a rough estimation, and that would also mean quite a lot, because Wagner groups are considered pretty well trained, and they are pretty considered on the like a special force level. So let's see, because they are criminals, they will probably fight very hard. So this is, the Ukrainians still have more troops regardless, but some of the pro-Ukrainian crowd actually dismisses it. So I would say don't dismiss it, because the combination of the Wagner recruitment plus this volunteer, self-volunteer mobilization does seems to be quite scary. Recruiting 1,000 soldiers from one region is actually not difficult. They can easily raise another 85,000 from any region. I don't think 1,000 troops is that difficult to recruit. So anyway, this is the summary, not quick update. This is a summary from the day of 205 and 16th of September, and I'll see you in the next update.